Welcome to 10X Live, the show where we're revolutionizing business one strategy at a time. At 10X Solutions, we have a bold vision to democratize business excellence. We believe every organization deserves the tools to thrive. Our secret sauce? The perfect blend of cutting-edge AI, the proven power of organizational health, and growth management. We assemble genius teams equipped with advanced analytics to supercharge decision-making and skyrocket efficiency. From AI-augmented strategy sessions that spark creativity to precise planning powered by human ingenuity, we're your catalyst for sustainable growth. We keep it real, we keep it honest, and we keep you ahead of the curve. Join us for the 10X revolution. We're not just adapting to change, we're leading it. Let's map out a future where your business doesn't just survive, it thrives. This is 10X Live. Let's transform business together.
Here we are. Man, I am so excited for us to get started today. This is something that we've been waiting for a long time. And what we're going to introduce, what we're going to bring to this team, to our audience here is energy, vulnerability, creatability. I mean, we're here to help the small businesses. We're here to help those solo entrepreneurs. And we have AI demonstrations. We're going to have a session where we just kind of kick back and talk about life. We also have other portions where we're just going to unpack what we've been learning, what kicks we've been on. But most importantly, today we're here to get started, launch this great live stream that we're going to be back here weekly, and we're so excited to have you journey with us. We're so excited for you to be here with us, and this is going to be great. This is going to be fun, and engagement will help. We'd love to hear what burning questions you have. We'd love for you to interact, challenge us at times, whatever it may be, whatever can help. But at the very least, we're excited, and I'm excited to introduce Jay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Jay is the creative mind behind all this. He's with 10X Solutions, and we'll get into this, but he's the innovator of this. He's our wanderer. He's our solutions man. He's our inventor, which he's a perfect pairing for me. And that's why I'm so excited. We just used to do this. This was really casual for us, right, Jay? When we first started, we're like, hey, you have different geniuses than I do. I need your help. And I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I really just like to help bring positivity, motivation, really come in with a lot of energy and kind of help push projects towards the end there. And so with us combining our superpowers of energy and joy together, here we are with 10X Live. We're excited to get started and would love to hear a little bit about where you're coming from, where we're getting started with today, Jay.
Yeah. So it's our first show. A couple things for everybody here and anybody watching. This is going to be a weekly show. We are going to revolutionize business. It sounds big, but it's not. It's possible, and we're going to do it. So what this show is going to be segmented out into, like Kyle was saying, into different sections. So we're going to have some educational, some motivational types of things, inspirational. Going to have some product demonstrations, different things like that for people to engage in different ways with the show. And then a segment where we kind of just talk about different things. It's going to be pretty casual for those, but there are going to be with a subject and on topic for that as well. So, So, Kyle, do you want to tell us a little bit about kind of how you got here and why you're here? And
Man, there's so much to unpack with that, Jay. How did we get here today? That we can go way back, and the short of it to this moment is a layoff. Last November, I was just humming along, working in corporate, working with a big team, 12 states in insurance. Loved it, loved leading my team. And we show up on a Monday, and there's a 10-minute Facebook message from the new CEO, and they're like, pack your bags, we're shutting down your devices, and that's it. 2,500 of us out the door. And I can tell you that if you're watching this, you know somebody that's been impacted by this recently. It may be you, it may be a friend, maybe a spouse. A lot of us have been impacted by these different economic times coming out of COVID, right? And so I had to reinvent where I was as a people leader was uh, utilizing 6 types of working genius. I was self taught, and so those that know Patrick Lencioni knows this new tool that's out there. And for those that don't know it, you're going to have an opportunity to learn about it and hear about it on this live stream and many more to come. It's going to be one of our primary focuses. But fast forward to now, I'm a certified facilitator of it, and I love it. I've taken my family through it. My spouse and I have better marriage because of it. I've worked with small corporations. I've worked with some larger ones. And at the end of the day, there's these aha moments that just get me so excited to help elevate and raise uh, the ceiling for people, realizing that that's why I showed up the way I did. Patrick talks about it all the time on his show. He's like, I loved my job, but there were certain parts of my jobs that I would show up and I just didn't like. It sucked the energy out of me. And I, as a people leader, I understood those moments. I understood what he was talking about, but I didn't know why. And I didn't know what it was. And that helps to identify. And so that's why I'm here. Like helping small businesses, helping other people to better understand how they can get joy and satisfaction and work better and smarter through their businesses. And I just genuinely love helping others. I started in exercise science. I used to do the personal training. I used to do the group fitness, the silver sneakers with the older folks. It was one of my favorites, the sit and be fit. Like I've been all over the place. And the common theme is that I love people and I want to help them. And that's really what has brought me here today, because you do too, Jay. That's why you're here. The greater good, right? You feel we have an obligation. I think that's a good transition for us to hear more about you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kyle. I love hearing it, the passion and knowing the power of how the 6 types of working genius can transform not only a team but an organization and an individual. Like, and that is part of it for me. So, for me, starting with why, um, I found out about the 6 types of working genius a while ago, and when it first came out, and I don't think I used the term game changer more than when I did then.
Yeah.
And part of why was I learned so much about myself in 20 minutes from taking the test that there were a lot of things that were frustrating in my work environment, in my job, even interpersonal relationships at work, right? That all of a sudden became clear because I learned through that my frustrations are galvanizing, which is one of your geniuses, and tenacity. And so my geniuses, that's why we have it here. The WI stands for wonder and invention. I am a creative dreamer. So those are my working geniuses. I love to be working in an area where I can ponder how to improve things or the greater possibilities of things, and coming up with the solutions for them. But then at that point, that's only the beginning of work, right? So work has 3 stages. It has the ideation phase, which I thrive in because the ideation phase is wonder and invention. And then it has the activation phase, which I do not thrive in. I actually I'm not good at all. It's a frustration galvanizing. And that's the thing I learned was in the organization I was with, there were so many great positive initiatives and things that were not taking off, that were not getting started, or, that were not gaining traction because it was a frustration of mine.
Yeah.
Because like in my mind, it's good. Why don't people just use it? I'm not a galvanizer. So that was a big aha moment for me. And then the world changed for me March 2023, about last year. So if anybody knows, that was when Chat GPT 4 came out, and I was pretty early with Chat, taking the world by storm. And 4.0 came out. And the first weekend I started using it, I was able to automate about 300 hours of tasks into about 4. And I just realized, like, I just knew the world is now different. And that's like the motivation. So, there's um at the time I started considering going out on my own, starting my own thing and trying to figure out what that's going to look like and how that will unfold and take place. Through a lot of talking with people and friends and some good advice. A lot of people just told me you should be a consultant. And I at first I was no, like the idea of that just kind of for one, imposter syndrome. I don't know who would hire me to do that. What would I do?
Yeah.
All these reasons not to. And the more I thought about it and applied the 6 working geniuses to what I should be doing, and realizing that the best way for me to combine my strengths and add value to others is as a consultant. And for me, it's going to be specializing and focusing. And so for 10x Solutions, the vision is to really revolutionize business through the use of very affordable tools, including strategic offsites. And so that the strategic offsite part is the part that really excites me. Um,
Which is where
again,
we fit really well together, right? That's kind of some of the things we've talked about in the background.
yeah,
You as the creator love that, laying it out. Those are things, my frustrations are your things that fill you up. Like
yeah,
creating that structure and then taking it and being at the offsite is really where I get filled up. And so yeah, it just
yeah,
continues to make sense. And I can't wait for more people to learn about the tool.
yeah, yeah, and that's the vision. So we're not there yet, but we'll get there. And this is the start of it. So for anybody watching too, if you're here now and wherever you are, you can always pop in. You can say hi in the chat. We'd love to see you. Um, I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago, and I think I've told you this too. But I know somebody. We were in a meeting a couple of days ago, and there's a couple of people there that are very prolific on posting on LinkedIn, which for this type of work is kind of what you have to do. And I'm terrible at that. For me, like I told them, and this is true. I have done this before more than once, where I have sat down and started writing a LinkedIn post, and I'll write it out fairly quickly, and then I'll edit it and scrutinize it and scrutinize it and stare at it and scrutinize it, and about 2 hours later, I delete it and don't even post it. And then I have no energy left.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that it's just not. It doesn't work for me. But the very first time I was ever paid was to shut up, so I can talk. I can talk here for an hour is no problem. So in a lot of ways, that's what this is, right? It's a way to communicate what I'm all about, what you're all about, what 10x is all about, what we're doing, and be able to showcase ourselves and get ourselves out there, and so that people can find us and improve their situation. It's Jeff. Jeff, hey, where are you watching from, Jeff? Of all the people, man, I knew, I had a feeling it would be you. So Jeff is a old coworker, a great friend, one of the most smartest, kindest, most reliable people I've ever known in my life. But it's good to see you here.
Yeah, and while we're doing shout outs, I mean, we have a lot of our the greatest thing that not greatest thing, a great thing that came out of COVID was and we're going to talk more. This is a version of AI, in my opinion, but so many of us have never met in person. But we have this great community of working genius facilitators that are here with us. We have Julie, we have Chris, Denise just popped in talking about our new opportunities. They're both on LinkedIn, following along. So it is fun, and we're in so many different states. I'm currently in Michigan, and Jay, you're in the giant
California.
great state of California.
Yeah.
And so
yeah. And it's crazy, right? Like you and I have never actually met. We have started a live show and have never met. Like, I mean, 10 years ago, that wouldn't have even been, like, I guess you could have conceived of it 10 years ago, but not to this extent. It's crazy. Yeah. So why I'm here is largely those two things. Like those are, organizational health. So the 6 types of working genius falls into a greater body of works that really helps organizations in my opinion, it's the foundation. You have to, the organization has to be healthy. If the leadership team of an organization is not clearly communicating their vision, how to behave, where they're going, and holding each other accountable, having healthy conflict, and communicating that throughout the organization from the top all the way through the organization till it is understood in the hearts, minds, souls of every single person there. If you're not doing that, then you are leaving so much money on the table. You're losing money. You're bleeding money because there's two reasons for that, and probably more, but two that come to mind immediately. One is you're not tapping into the intellectual capital that you have. You are surrounded by incredibly smart people, and if they're not engaged and they're not committed and they don't understand and they're not part of your bigger purpose for your company, then they're not going to be putting out the productivity that they would be. And so you're just losing money on, as an employer, you are losing money without having organizational health. So you have to start there. Once you have that foundation, once you understand how to operate as a cohesive leadership team, and you understand why you exist, the expectations of behavior, what the vision is for the company, what's most important right now, who's responsible for what, and those types of questions, then you are able to be laser focused and move the organization in a direction and bring everybody involved. But like I said, intellectual capital, if you're not doing those things, if you have disengaged employees, team members, then there is a lot of expertise, innovation that is not being expertise and innovation that is not being tapped into, which is also an opportunity cost. So you have a real cost and an opportunity cost associated. So you have to have that. It has to start there. From there, then you can start talking about how to identify constraints, right? So what are the areas that are either stopping the company from being able to grow or are decreasing productivity? And it could be marketing, it could be availability of finance, it could be problems in the service deployment, a lot of different things. But identifying what those are, and then the process of identifying those. So then when you bring AI into the mix, it's just going to completely change your business. You could completely change your business. I don't want to make up numbers, right? But you're talking about significant impact. Millions of dollars for even small businesses for not the investment that people think that it is. Providing that is.
When you talk about marrying the two together, right, between AI and working genius, it allows an opportunity for people to do what they really enjoy. Yeah. And if you're a people leader watching this right now, think about how you would not have to require overtime anymore. That's what this potentially, that's the ceiling of this potentially, right? You start automating some systems that people don't necessarily like doing. And then you pair that with finding how people like to do work, what type of work they like to do, and they will work longer and harder. That's what shows statistically. People that love what they do will do it more often. And so when we can hand over the things and put those types of items in front of them, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where we're really going to start working on organizational health. Versus right now, it's about cleaning house and then getting a high performance culture. And you can demand that, but the best way of getting a high performance culture is getting the buy-in, which is what you talked about. They need buy-in, they need investment, they need to feel belief on why they're here and why they are working not for you, but with you. Like I hear so many leaders say, I have this many people underneath me. Well, we're already going the wrong direction, right? Like if that's organizational health, then they've missed as a leader. People working with you and working together, these two tools, they're going to elevate and change the small business world.
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff I was just talking about has long-term engagement, and it could take a while for payoff. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't invest in organizational health practices or consulting. There is a delayed payoff for that. There's not a delayed payoff for AI, for using AI today, and that's where we're going to segue into that in a second, doing a little demonstration, which is actually merging both of the worlds together, which is awesome. So actually, I guess that's the perfect segue, because the point is there are things that have lasting impact that will take a while to realize the benefits of. What I'm about to show you is not one of those things. You could use it today. Actually, the last time I demonstrated this, somebody started using it while I was demonstrating it, and redoing job descriptions and things. So, like, while I was demonstrating it, that's how fast you can put this into place. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. All right. So this is so a couple things on this. For one, this is something that I built in a couple hours. Not super sophisticated, not super complex, and it's completely free. The Table Group, who are the owners of the Six Working Geniuses, Pat Lencioni is the founder, CEO of the Table Group. They are working on a much better product than this. So I want to give them a shout out, and I want to encourage you to look for theirs when it comes out, because I'm not going to try and compete with them. The opposite. Hopefully you use this and you find some value in it, and then that could segue you into their product, which I do think is going to be better. But just to give you an idea of how powerful this is, let me just do a quick demonstration. So this is what we're going to talk about. This is something we built called the Genius Jobs GPT. If this isn't free to you now, it will be. This is part of it's Chat GPT, and you can access it just going to chatgpt.com. So some of the feedback I got was that some people were able to get into it for free, some were not. OpenAI, the owners of ChatGPT, like to roll things out in phases. So if you don't have free access now, you should eventually. If you do have access to this now, you already have access to this, and we will share the link in all of our all the places we're streaming at the end of the show, so you can check it out. So what this is there's two things here. So what this does is it merges AI and it merges not organizational health, part of it, but the 6 types of working genius. So without going into a whole dissertation on what the 6 types of working genius are, it is a productivity tool that in a personality tool, 80% productivity, 20% personality, that helps identify what areas, what tasks, what types of jobs do we derive joy and energy from in our daily work. That's what we're talking about. For me, it's wonder and invention. For Kyle, it's galvanizing and enablement. My frustrations are galvanizing and tenacity. And we're going to spend years probably going through, piece by piece, all the ins and outs of the 6 types of working genius. But what this does, if you're already familiar with it, is it helps take a job description, analyze the job description, and tell you what type of geniuses are best for that job. It'll also then tell you what frustrations to avoid in hiring for that job. It will then also recommend and provide interview questions, behavior-based interview questions to attract the right person. It can also change the job description. So if you take your job description and you find out that it's an ET that wants to, that is best for that job, then it can use almost like search engine optimization. It can use verbiage it can redo the job description so that it is written to attract somebody with those geniuses. And then it works both ways too. So it works for employers and for individuals. So if you're an individual and you're considering a career change, or you are, applying for jobs. So a couple things you could do is you could put your resume in, and you could tell it what your geniuses are, and then it will analyze that and give you a suggestion of career jobs that would be great for your experience and your geniuses, right? And geniuses, remember, it's about productivity and it's about joy and energy. It's about putting you in the right work for what gives you joy and energy. So part of the reason a lot of times we get burnt out is we're doing things we don't enjoy doing. And there are parts of every bit of work, every piece of work that somebody really enjoys. So it's about matching those up. So going back to this, so it can do all those things. You can just get in there and start messing with it, playing with it. Do a little bit of a demonstration right now. So we're going to assume, for the case of this, that this is our first time here, and there are 2 buttons. So there's the hello, how does this GPT work? These are starter conversation starters, and then there's that I've been this before. Let's just jump right in button. So let's just assume it's our first time and say, hey, how's this thing work? What is this? All right, so now it's just giving us an explanation. And, just real quick.
Yeah, we got Olga here on LinkedIn, but from San Diego, chatting in, watching this live right now. So we love Olga. She's a strong influencer on working with that C-suite type of businesses, and really doing a great job, knocking out. Appreciate you being here, Olga.
Yeah, thank you. And so everybody knows, some of you, most of you kind of are connected with me on LinkedIn, so you already know, but it still wouldn't let me connect to LinkedIn. So I can't see LinkedIn right now. So that's why Kyle's looking at that and then kind of helping us out connecting those. So the so this is what the GPT does. So you can see it's for employers and for job seekers, employees. So let me, this is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a task list from somebody who sent me their task list somewhat recently and give you an idea of kind of how this thing works. So I'm going to paste it into here and we say, please analyze this task list and tell me what geniuses are best for this position. I'll paste. Lets us know it's analyzing. That's new. I didn't see that yesterday, where it's like right here where it says analyzing.
Mm-hmm. That is new.
Yeah.
So Jay, we've talked about this a little bit, but so we do this demonstration. If somebody missed this or saw some of it and they wanted to do more of it, how are we gonna get this demonstration into others' hands? How can we help them to seek and learn more about this?
For now, just reach out. As we continue to grow the show and get more sophisticated on the show, I'm going to have more options for buttons and contacts and questions and requests for that sort of thing. For now, you can email me, Jay that's Jay at 10xsolutions.ai. Or you can message me on LinkedIn. And be happy to assist. All right, so it's finished its analysis. And so last person too was saying that they got a table. This is the first time I've seen a table. It's kind of cool. So it went through and all of the tasks, it analyzed each one and figured out what Genius is best associated with it. And then it gave us a report. So based on the provided task list, here are the recommended working geniuses for this HR position: enablement, tenacity. So in that order: enablement, tenacity, discernment, galvanizing. So key recommendations: primary geniuses should be enablement and tenacity. The supporting genius is discernment, and you want to avoid wonder and invention. I should not do this job. This was my last job. This was a part of my last job. And I should just do this like as part of this demonstration because this is so like such a chill environment we're creating here. All right, so let's do this. This is fun. All right, so they're going to break from the little kind of cool demonstration. So where I would go with this normally is I would then say, and let's just do it because it's still good too. So what interview, actually, how about this? So please rewrite the job description so that it is attractive, so that it is more attractive to somebody with ET. All right, so now it's going to redo the task list. It's actually going to because it was a task list, it's going to convert it into a job description. So it's going to add a lot more to it and then add a lot of verbiage and stuff. So now we just have it. Now it's done. So now that I realized that we're the employer, we've realized this task list, we've done a job analysis. What needs to get done is best done by somebody with ET. And now we've already written the job description to attract somebody with ET for that job. And because there's a process. We need to make sure we get the right person into the bus. We are going to need to make sure that we are also trying to make sure they are ET in the interview. So how about some interview questions? And now it's going to provide us a list of interview questions that are behavior based. So they ask for an example of a past behavior that is going to represent, kind of tell you as the interviewer, hiring manager, HR person, whether or not they are actually the geniuses that you need for the job. Now, a couple things this does. For one, is it's going to make sure that you get somebody who enjoys the work that they're doing, right? One of the things that we do is we tend to hire people who, yes, we need this. We need the qualified skill sets. You have to have that. You have to have the cultural fit, right? But if you don't know what type of work they enjoy, then you're going to have to replace them. They're going to get frustrated, burnt out, cause morale problems, over time. And so you're now able to fulfill a position with all three things. You can fill it with skill, you can fill it with culture, and you can fill it with putting somebody who's going to enjoy the work into the job. And you do that with this. So the other side of it is, so this was just, we're not going to go do a full demonstration on this and all the things it could do. I want to show you the one cool thing before I go, but you can do the other thing too. So other things you could do with this. Let's say, like I said at the beginning, let's say you are a job seeker. You can take job postings and run it through here and see if it matches with your geniuses. That way, you know whether or not you should apply to apply to it or not. You can, like I said before, you could run your resume and your geniuses through it and have it recommend career change recommendations. Or for this, so okay, the person I hired for the job is a WI. Rewrite the whole job description, including responsibilities, for to be tailored for someone who is a WI. I'll find another ET to finish these tasks. I don't know how this is going to turn out.
And so again, WI, wonder, invention, ET is at the end of the spectrum, enablement and tenacity. So those are your finisher people, right? Versus the start of an idea, the start of a project. And that's why some jobs may not fit with the things that give you joy and energy. It's getting the right butts in the right seats.
Mm-hmm. And this is what's crazy about this. This job description it just gave is 90% of what I did because they were in my, when I was in HR, the last job description is the stuff I hated. This is what I did, which is crazy. So it's free. We'll put the links in the chat, in all of them, so that everybody has access to this. And the next week, depending on feedback we get, we may do a little bit more with this. I also have another one that is specifically for, right. So like we mentioned, I'm WI. My frustrations are galvanizing and tenacity. How helpful would it be for me to be able to communicate with a coworker that has the geniuses where my frustrations are. And so what I did was I built a GPT that has 15 different personas built in that we call it borrowing, so that we can borrow geniuses to accomplish or get over hurdles that we're stuck on. And that's what we're going to cover next week. So that's it for this product demonstration. I think it's pretty cool. It's free. So again, we'll just send the link and we should be good to go when we're all done here. So, all right. So now we're going to move into kind of the main segment. This is the segment that is going to be more like a typical live stream, a bit more interactive. If anybody wants to chime in. So again, with this one, LinkedIn, I am not able to see. So Kyle, you can interrupt us or ask questions from that are coming from LinkedIn, or any comments or anything like that. Because we want a participation here. And I'll tell you this: I have a lot of ideas. I ask a lot of questions, but I'm just one person. It's about community, and it's about building a community of people who are experts. And so, yes, I want to sell myself. That's a big part of why I'm here on the show doing this. But I also want to sell you, Kyle. When it comes to the 6 types of working geniuses, if based other than geography or those sorts of things, I would rather refer them to you, because I think you are a better expert in that than I am. Where I want to go with 10x Solutions is, like I said, strategic offsites. So helping organizations break down kind of the barriers to growth for that. And that's kind of where my expertise lies in forming and implementing strategic initiatives and driving those through to completion. So, all that to say, if you're here, you're probably an expert. You're probably more of an expert about what we're going to be talking about than I am, in some ways. So we're going to suffer if you don't speak up. We're going to be, we are not going to be as good of people, individuals, if you don't chime in and let us know what we're doing wrong or what your insights are. So that we really want to encourage that. So we're going to talk about the kind of the now of work. One of the big things you hear about is the future of work. It's like, you see it everywhere on LinkedIn. It's kind of this idea of the future of work, where we're talking about what work will become. But that's now. The future is now. That might have been a relevant conversation 10 years ago, but right now things are evolving so rapidly that we can't even speculate on what the future is. We need to look at where we are right now. And in my world, there are 2 major things that have happened very recently that I think are superpowers. And they're the things I think are going to change how we perceive work, how we work, what we do, how we interact. And we've already talked about both of those. The last demonstration used both. And that is AI and the 6 types of working genius.
Yeah.
So when it comes to AI, Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, they're the ones who created ChatGPT. And he's not the only one. I've heard this a lot, but related AI to a printing press moment. The printing press was a moment in history that changed history forever, because the availability of literature. It made it so that you can print and bind books instead of using scribes. And it changed everything. AI is that now. It's not there yet. It's starting to. It's not there yet, but we're talking about a printing press moment with that. The other one, and this blew me away. I loved this. So I am a big fan and proponent of everything Pat Lencioni does. Was watching a workshop with him a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about this thing that happened. He was talking about the internet. He was talking about when he first heard about the internet, and colleagues were telling him about it, and coworkers and friends and whatnot. And he was kind of like, yeah, it's probably a phase, this thing called the internet. It's probably going to come and it's going to go. But it kind of crept up, but it changed the world, right? So it started off kind of slow and built momentum and then changed the world. And I thought he was going to talk about AI. I thought he was saying AI was that same thing. Because this is the same, they were unveiling some of what their new AI tool can do. So that's where I thought he was going with it, but he didn't. He was referring to the 6 types of working genius, and how the 6 types of working genius can have the power of the internet, and I think he may be crazy, but I think he may be right. Because it revolutionizes how we work.
Yeah.
and it revolutionizes how we get stuff done. And it has that power. So right, so we have these two superpowers. We have AI and we have the 6 types of working genius converging at the same time, and it has created a catalyst moment that the future of work is now. Is the point, I guess. So that's kind of the premise with it. Um, I see you kind of rattling away and engaging over there, so I'm guessing it's LinkedIn stuff. So can you
And
share too? I don't know if you could share a screen or any of that. We'll figure it out for next time. I guess it's a little frustrating right now, but
yeah, we absolutely will. And it's more of keeping track as we get engagement from our community, our awesome community, just talking about and excited about, some of this is a little bit eye opening, even for us, even those us facilitators. It is such a new tool. I think 2021, maybe 2020 is when it came out, as they were getting ready to launch it about when COVID happened. And we weren't necessarily ready for that moment. He wasn't ready for that moment, but everything changed, and you can see that it's a larger impact than they even imagined. Uh, Cody talked about it in one of the episodes. He's like, "This is going to be bigger than anything we've ever done at this point," and we are seeing it. I mean, just being within a major corporation like I was prior to this, it was always what can we do? There's disc, there's strength finders, and there's all these great tools, and we love them. Jay and I love them all. I can tell you that I'm an influencer. If it's a pie tin, I'm the frosting dripping off out of the eye. That's where I'm at on that. I can tell you that strength finders, woo, belief, arranger, communication, positivity, those five, I can rattle them off, but how do we use those in an organization? I think that's the hardest part for me. Where the 6 types of working genius, I saw it, it made sense. We mapped our team, we mapped our leadership team, and it's, this is the right month to talk about. It's an inclusion tool. It made me reach out to different leaders that I normally wouldn't. I was always reaching out to the other galvanizers, and we'd galvanize each other and leave all energized and realize we didn't figure anything out. Like
right.
it didn't work. But then you talk to a discerner, and they poke some holes in ideas that I thought I had that I was good at, but that's a frustration. J is my frustrations in terms of how we do work. And it really was eye-opening for me on why I needed people. Where there's so much solo entrepreneurship out there, people are trying to work in these silos, working from home. We still need people, and that's what this tool does. And AI, I mean, you speak to that all the time, Jay. I was a little resistant because it almost feels like cheating at times, but now AI allows us to work with smaller teams. It allows us to do some things that maybe we're not as good at with some automations. And you marry that, and it allows you to get back to things that gives us joy and energy, and that we're naturally more gifted at.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited to get this in the hands of others. It's time.
Well, that's one of the things like that. It's going to be an ongoing conversation. 88% of AI users are non-technical people. So we're not talking about programmers. We're talking about frontline managers. Talking about, yes, exactly. We're talking about nurses. We're talking about frontline, like people who are finding it to automate tasks for themselves throughout the day. And then what's happening is, it's this weird thing because you would think that, like, I guess it's like something that, like Wall-E, right? We think about Wall-E and we think about how separated everybody was until like things started breaking down, and then they started, interacting again. But that technology kind of led to this separation. And we're finding it's actually the opposite. We're finding that people who use AI in their jobs, far more than the rest of the population, value, camaraderie with their teammates, humanized work, regular feedback, creative work. It's really interesting how, like, now that we're inundating ourselves with this new technology, we are craving and desiring more human interaction as a result. And to me, that there's a synergy there, because again, what tool out there is better to help humanize the workforce? Like, what's the best tool in the market right now to help humanize the workforce, to bring about those sorts of things that society wants right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
I
want do,
think
do,
this.
do, do you want to take a stab? That's a guess.
Well,
I know I'm being
uh,
rhetorical, but
well, I don't think there is. I mean, it's
well,
hard for
it's the
me.
six working geniuses.
Yeah. Yeah. It
because
absolutely is.
because it aligns joy and energy with the work,
Yeah.
and allows people to work in the areas that bring them joy and energy, which is going to elevate engagement, employee satisfaction, productivity, profitability, all those sorts of things.
Well, and so think about this, Jay, just to reiterate it, and maybe you're part of an organization like this, but benefits, they used to be cool that people, that organizations loved were picnics,
Mm-hmm.
outings, like those were supposed to be the benefits, right? I found as a people leader, my team was resistant to that. They're like, just give me money instead. Like
Yeah,
that's really what it landed to. We were trying to figure out ways to build that. And as I reflect on that and think about it, really what they were saying is give me work that brings me joy and energy. Like that
right.
engagement, bringing my team, working through those conversations, it only fits a few people. Me, I liked it, but not everybody likes that because we find that we get different joy and energy in different ways because people are built differently, which is great. That's what we want. And then I add in the AI part of it. I'm strong with being a communicator as a leader, but something I was really difficult was for me. I think about like year-end reviews. Now, just hang with me for a second because that sounds like cheating, but I always said to my staff, my team, my goal was to bring their best story because I always wanted them to make the most money that they could. But their ceiling was my storytelling. Like, is that fair for them? That's not my
Right.
gift. My gift is not sitting down and writing and tenacity, T work on creating a story. So if I had AI, the polling, because I took great notes throughout the year, they do really well in these areas. And I would bring it in. I try to put it all in story with this tool now, with ChatGPT. I pull all that in and it starts to create the story for me, and then I just do it with my own wording. And
Mm-hmm.
I at first I would have thought that's cheating. Now, if I was a leader, I would feel like I'm doing a disservice to my team if I'm not using it and telling
Exactly.
their best story to help them get their minimal raise, merit increase that you
Mm-hmm.
can receive in the corporate world.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that's the attitude that we need to have, and that's the attitude that I think is really kind of what we're pushing for
Yeah.
with this. Not the attitude of blind adoption, not the attitude of ignoring the pitfalls and the potential dangers because they're out there and they're real.
Yeah.
Small or big, they are real, and we have to be aware of those things. We have to talk about those things. We have to talk about ethics. But so many of the ethics is how do we use it? Do we if we have a tool that can reduce the amount of tasks needed by human by people by 30%, does that mean that we reduce our labor force by 30%? Right? If everybody did that's not good. So what's the solution, right? So you use it to augment the Genius tools. So you're putting people in their most productive places, and then you're equipping them with AI so that they are able to produce more than they were before. And you're not overloading them. So you're allowing them to innovate for your company. You're
Yeah.
allowing them to be creative, to enjoy each other, to increase the morale. To all the like kind of total rewards kind of stuff that comes with it. Um, and then what'll happen is as you grow, then you don't need to hire as much, right? So instead of layoffs and mass layoffs and threatening of jobs, as business leaders, I think these are things that we have to consider. And you can't. There has to be a business case for it, right? You have to have fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders. So it's not like you can just say, okay, well, we're not going to lay people off because we want to be altruistic. You need to find the business case for it. And that's what this is, right? Put them to task on things that give them joy and energy,
Yeah.
and increase their productivity and reap the benefits and the rewards of that. Don't try and stay at 100% with 70% of your staff. Try and use 100% of your staff to reach 200%.
Yeah. Staying the course and working hard, I don't think works like it used to. I think of my father and my father-in-law. They used to be able to go out, and if you worked harder than everybody else, then you could go out and make money. And it's just not the world that we live in now. People can work differently. We have a lot more resources that are available to us, and a lot of it's about reaching out on a broader spectrum and coming up. You have to be innovative to keep up now. That is the world that we're in. We see these giant corporations that continue to fold, and that is because they didn't use individuals with the WI that would take a step back. Blockbuster said that these streaming services were not a threat. They laughed at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, our audience might not even know what Blockbuster is at this point.
Right.
That's what's happening. And so you need to get the right individuals to be able to have that reflective time, to be able to create better solutions for the company. And that's where we are, Jay. That's where I think that we have the opportunity. And that's the message we're trying to get across here today.
Yeah. 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 And just to keep having conversations about it, and to keep trying to solve it. Then one of the things you got to think about, democratize business excellence, right?
Yeah.
That's the mission. And what does that mean? It means that creating processes and systems that allow everyone, every business, the ability to implement best practices and implement excellence. A lot of companies don't know how, or they think it's too far away, or they think that they have to, shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars to make change. And sometimes that's appropriate. If someone wants to do that, my phone number is right. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. My point of all of this is to say, I think it was Sony. When Sony started, they started because their passion was to their drive, their motivator, their why was to bring Japan back from World War II as a leader in the tech industry. And I think they were making toys. At some point, I think it was Sony sold lettuce to stay in business during hard times, right? So that's one of the things I struggle with, because I don't know exactly what my product is. I have a lot of things packaged up, and I have things, I have clients that I'm working with, but how do I communicate that? I don't know. There's a lot of things I can do and I will do, but all of them are for the purpose of democratizing business excellence. And the more feedback I get, and the more tuning and learning and things that I'm able to interaction, then we're going to figure out more and more how to do that. But we're going to get there. It's going to be a slow crawl, exponential momentum building process to get there. But we're going to get there. We're going to change the world.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Cool. Well, you want to sign us off, or?
I do.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I will see everybody next week. Take us out of here.
Hey, episode 1. We're so glad that you're here. So excited to see you next week. Jay is the creative dreamer. He's coming up with ideas, solutions, but we know that it's not just us. We know that we need individuals chiming in, following, challenging us. I mean, we need people, you need teams, and the way that we come together and come up with those solutions is through live interaction with everybody out there. And so takeaways from today, we worked with Chat GPT, which is free to many, if not all. We'll have those links for you. We talked about the 6 types of working genius. Marrying those two, it's going to be something incredible, something beautiful, Because at the end of the day, as somebody that's worked in two major large corporations in the Grand Rapids area in Michigan, I got to see what the corporate world was like. And you know what? There are such great benefits. The older generation told us to get in there, work hard, you get the pensions. That's not the way it is anymore. So we have to find things that give us joy and energy, because it's always changing. And part of that joy and energy is getting rid of some of the things that we don't necessarily like to do, and then leaning in and doing the things that we do enjoy, things that we're naturally good at. And that's what the 6 types of working geniuses that allows us and gets that knowledge in front of us. So it's a $25 assessment. I would love to take you through that. If you decide to invest in that, we can do the debrief, 30 minutes. Your mind will be blown. You'll have more knowledge than you ever anticipated on something so simple. And sorry if it makes you decide to have a career change. Not sorry, because it's that powerful. It'll make you think so differently about the way we do work and how we want to do work. And then additionally, as a people leader, as we talk organizational health, it's time, if you haven't, create that AI account. It's time to dig in and start utilizing that. If we talk about being vulnerable and no dumb questions, a great place to land those questions, AI. It's not always going to have the answer. It's in the very infant stages of what it will be to eventually. But for now, it's at least a starting point for somebody like myself that doesn't like to slow down and discern and wonder and invent. Somebody that likes to go, rally the team, support the team, and push it to the end. It's a great tool for somebody like me that I wish I would have had, and something that I use regularly now. Even with something as simple as communicating with a teacher, we had a conflict, and we wanted to make sure that it was empathetic, nice, and that we got our points across. The principal reached out and said that was one of the most respectful communications they've ever received. And it helped us to bridge the gap instead of coming in and being mad. It's an everyday tool now that we can use. So we're excited. Thanks again for joining us. We can't wait to see you until next week. Until then, feel free to reach out. 10X Solution, Vernon Business Partners, we're here for you. Have a great day.